Hello.
Has everyone got their devices?
Yeah.
So shall we start?
Can you please repeat the rules once again?
Okay.
For the benefit of the investor.
Well, during this elevator pitch, each investor will be given a virtual fund of rupees 10 crores. This virtual fund can be invested in the startups with maximum ticket size of rupees 1 crore. Well, after every pitch, investors may decide to invest some virtual money in the startup. For this, the investors have already been given the Android tablet with a pre-installed application. The investors joining online can participate through a web link. And besides investing the virtual money, the investors can also give a star rating for the pitch in a wow meter. Once all the pitches are completed, the startup raising the highest virtual fund will be adjudged as the winner. And now, the top 3 pitches will be awarded, and this is quite tempting because the third prize winner will be getting an Apple iPad Air. The second prize winner will be getting an Apple iPad Pro, and the first prize, the Apple MacBook Air M1. So these are the rules, and we'll begin the pitches, and our first startup is Beanbag.
Thank you. Very good afternoon. My name is Achitra. I'm the founder and CEO of Beanbag. Beanbag is a unified platform for B2B waste generators to manage their electronic waste. India generates more than 3 million tons of electronic waste every year. That's equivalent to 5 Qutub Minars every year. But with more than 400 recyclers and many tech solutions available, we are recycling less than 10% of what we are generating. So this tells us one thing, that the current solutions are not working. On one hand, we have capex-heavy recyclers that are difficult to scale, and on the other hand, there are tech solutions that are solving only a part of the supply chain, leaving a large leaving and one in Northeast, which is the only e-waste recycling facility in the entire Northeast. So this vertical integration puts us in a unique position to create a flywheel effect by dominating a certain market segment, which is the SMB segment for us right now. Before we open it up to third parties like other recyclers and service providers like logistics, credit, and other parties in the whole e-waste ecosystem. This year we are growing at over 27% month on month, and currently at over $500,000 in sales. At Beanbag, we have a simple mission to convert every country or a region generating 1 million tons of e-waste into a $2 billion economy. And in that process, divert toxic elements from the e-waste from the landfills. So planet and profit together. Thank you. Thank you.
So I request investors to kindly give their meetings. By then, I request our next startup to kindly come up on stage. So our next startup, Chroma Badge. So, are the ratings been done? The investments been done? So we'll have a screen, the next screen displayed here. So is it been done? You have any issues with that? No? Okay. So can we have the next issues with that? No? Okay. So can we have the next? Yes, yes please. We have a query there.
So just to let you know that how the pitch was, there is also one wow meter there if you can see. People have rated him 3.76. So that we will use for as a tiebreaker if someone raises same amount of fund, say 10 crores, the top one. So this will be used as a tiebreaker kind of thing. Yeah, not now. Now the second startup will come, and then you can invest in the second startup. And then we will continue this process. We will keep you showing this screen after every pitching. And then again go back. But at the end of the day, you can change your decision also.
So suggested that we will not disclose it now, the ratings and the investments, at the end of all the pitches, sir. Sir,
this is actually, okay, sir, if you see, but whenever you want to see, we will definitely show this. But this is a game only, sir. We thought that this will help the game. Sure.
So, shall we proceed to the next pitch? Yes, please.
Good morning, esteemed dignitaries, organizers, members of the audience, fellow startups. I am Dr. Amrita Kashyap Chaliha, Managing Partner, Chroma Biotech LLP from Dibrugarh, Assam. Please start the video. We are a biotech startup funded by NRL Ideation, which is engaged in mass production of superior quality tissue culture samples. Northeast is synonymous with lush greenery, but our agricultural productivity is quite less than of the other states of India. The top producing states like Maharashtra attribute their success to plant tissue culture technology. There are 69 government certified tissue culture labs in India, but none in the Northeast. Tissue culture technology is important. It is a game changer because it leads to the rapid generation of high quality plantlets in an exponential process that creates clones of the mother plants. This genetic uniformity is crucial in downstream industrial processes. At Chroma Biotech LLP, we have an all-female workforce engaged in bamboo tissue culture operations. We have collaborated with Rainforest Research Institute and the ICFRE Government of India for technology transfer and licensing of superior clones. We also have collaborated with Dibrugarh University, Punjab University as technical experts. The next thing here is to know that life sciences companies have a longer gestation period. But we have standardized our protocols, trained our manpower, and we are ready with a minimum viable product, which we have dispatched to Assam Biorefinery Private Limited. This biorefinery is mandated to produce 6 crore liters of bioethanol from bamboo biomass. Our USP is that our technical prowess is our USP, and also we have 2 large anchor customers, ABRPL, with whom we are going to sign an MOU shortly, and Chroma Nurseries, which is a leading award-winning nursery of Northeast. It is engaged in floriculture operations since about 12 years now, with market linkage through all of Northeast and beyond. They import tissue culture saplings from China, Thailand, Netherlands, etc. And we hope to fill in on this demand. Our vision for the future is that we will prove the unit economics of our tissue culture operations. We are going to identify the barriers to scale, and we are going to then create the structure to achieve this scale, and then finally we are going to target the white spaces in the agribusiness. We are very proud that through our work, we also take 8 of the 17 Sustainable Development Goals of United Nations, including promotion of gender equality, climate action, clean energy, etc. Thank you for the organizers for giving me this opportunity to pitch. I'm ready for any questions that you might have. Thank you.
Thank you. I request investors to kindly invest the virtual money and also do the ratings. So may I now invite our next startup, please.
Good afternoon everyone. My name is Ankit Kumar and I am here to represent our startup Kalishe. Before coming to our main presentation, I would like to thank team of NRL and Oil India for organizing such an event where startups like us gets to pitch in front of all the stakeholders. This also freshens up my memory right from our initial days before we founded this startup. We were students of petroleum engineering and we had one idea for which industry was struggling to find a solution. And that idea belongs to oil and gas industry. So once we had the idea, we needed resources to take it forward, and we considered this as our responsibility to develop a technology and to make that technology available in the market. So as a student, we hardly had any resources, but we had determination, and we approached people from Oil India and other academic institutions in Northeast, and that's how I came to know about Oil Startup Fund, which has been supporting us from right beginning. So coming to our next slide. Okay, thank you. Sure. So basically my entire pitch is in just one slide. I'll start with the solution part. So we have developed a technology where we are utilizing bacteria or other microorganisms which can live or we can survive in harsh environments. You can say high temperature, high pressure, low temperature, high salinity, and they consolidate loose sand grains to convert it into sandstones. That is our technology, and this technology can have applications in multiple domains. Based on our current resources, we are exploring application in oil and gas industry. The first application is to control sand influx problem while oil and gas production, and this has been funded by Oil India Limited. The second problem that we are exploring is that when cementation happens behind the casing, due to poor quality of cement, various micro channels gets developed. And it is really hard for any conventional cement to enter into all the channels. And for our microbes, we mix it with water. Viscosity is as similar as water, and they can enter to any micro channels better than cement. So this is our second product. The third product, which is very exciting and which is close to my heart also, is that we are planning to send these bacteria into outer space, Mars, Moon, and for this we are going to sign an agreement with Indian Space Research Organization this month. What we are trying to achieve with Indian Space Research Organization, organizations like NASA and SpaceX are also competing for the same thing. Our USP is that we are a young team, we are a multidisciplinary team where engineers from biotechnology as well as machine learning sits in same room to discuss any kind of problems. Since the average age of our founding team is 25 years, we consider that we have 35 to 40 years to make an impact in the industry. In terms of traction, since the problem that we are trying to solve in oil and gas industry, we have ONGC and Oil India as major players, which constitutes more than 75. We have managed to onboard both of them with funding commitments of more than 5 crore plus. We have also signed multiple agreements with companies outside India because this is a global problem. So we have technology deployment partners in countries like Nigeria, Italy, Sudan, and USA also we are in touch with. So that is my short pitch. Thank you for the opportunity provided. And before I conclude my speech, I would like to say one thing, that our Honorable Prime Minister Sir has also uploaded the slogan with Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan, Jai Vigyan. We have to add Jai Anusandhan also for the growth of New India. Thank you.
Thank you for your pitch. I request all our investors to kindly make the investment of the virtual money and also kindly do the rating. I now invite our next startup to kindly come up on this and do the pitch.
Hello. A very good afternoon. Myself Satyam Sharma. I am representing the co-founders team of All Pro Water Consultants. We all must have faced a situation when we take our vehicle for servicing the service centers and we get to hear, sir ji parts nahi hai, 15 din baad aayiye. This is where our story starts. Next slide, please. The aftermarket spare parts industry in India has grown to double its size in the last 1 decade. Along with it, the problems it faces. The industry is at a constant challenge of pilferages, leakages and frozen capital on account of competency level of manpower and non-adherence to processes outlined by the OEMs or the principal manufacturer. We, with support from IIT Guwahati Research Park, NRL Ideation and Maruti Suzuki India, got into this space wherein we developed a digital platform through which dealers and distributors could assess their inventory, digitize their warehouses and get a live data analytics support to help manage their inventory. The impact of this, 100 crores of inventory assessed in a period of 2.5 years and almost 30% of direct benefit to our dealers and distributors. The traction. We take honor today to say that we stand recognized today with the market leader of the country, that is Maruti Suzuki India, for 12 states from Chhattisgarh to Northeast, out of which we have traction till West Bengal with 200 dealers and distributors in our support and almost 40 with an average ticket size of 5 lakhs per annum. We are looking for an investment of 3 crores for in the next 2 years' time to help us enable, get onboarded with the market leader as one of the vendor consultants. Thank you.
Thank you. I once again request investors to kindly invest the virtual money and kindly do the rating at the wow meter. I now invite our next startup.
Good afternoon everyone, this is Ideation. I am from Drone Tech Lab. We are incubated at IIM Calcutta Innovation Park and IIT Guwahati Research Park, funded by Babanor Company Limited. We started way back in 2016. As a drone-based company, many of us here are already aware about what a drone does. We are a system integrator. We leverage hardware, software, data analysis systems to bring in and design solutions and effectively see and inspect assets. As we speak today, I am very happy to announce that we have signed an exclusive agreement with the government of Assam, whereby we are mapping and digitalizing each and every villages of Assam through our drones, so that the data of each and every village is stored from these rugged reference pages to a server that can be used via different departments, and not the departments have to fight it over for these rugged pages, and each and every data that is related to each and every village that can be optimized and used considerably for betterment of the society in our cloud. The same work could have been done via man in a span of 2.5 or 3 years, that we are doing it and finishing it off in a record span of 18 months. I am here to ask for a fund ask of near about $1 million, that is 8.2 crores of money, and open for questions if anyone have any questions. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I hope all our investors have invested the virtual money and also are done with the rating. I invite our next startup for the pitch.
Thank you. Can I have the presentation, please? Hello everyone. On the onset, I want to thank the organizers for this opportunity. It's an honor. My name is Swakshar, one of the founders of Ahom Farm Machinery, a company whose mission is to transition small and marginal farming into a profitable profession. We, Ahom Farm Machinery, AFM is a product company which is focused on developing customized farm machinery for small and marginal farmers to help them improve their productivity and hence profitability. So, what exactly we are trying to do here? If you look into the current agricultural scenario, farm mechanization has made considerable progress. However, it is primarily led by tractorization, which means that small and marginal farmers, which constitutes about 70% of the farming population, are left to do majority of their work through manual labor. This adds up to almost 70% to their cost line. Now, it is our belief that by introducing customized farm machinery for small and marginal farmers, we can reduce this cost by up to 50%. This is what we are trying to do. And how we are trying to do it? What exactly are we bringing on to the table? Well, we have developed specialized machineries for small and marginal farmers, which covers many of their activities, like a tiller cum weeder, a thresher, multi-crop thresher, and a multi-crop reaper. What is our USP? We have two distinct USPs. The first is our price points. Because we have developed our products from ground up, we have managed to keep the price points almost 30 to 40% less than any similar product in the market. Our second USP is the multi-channel GTM approach that we have. Now, even though we are a product company, we are cognizant of the fact that merely making this product available to the farmers is not going to cut in. Primarily because our target customers, small and marginal farmers, have very limited purchasing power. So we have to go beyond the current industry practice of using or leveraging on the general trade and take it to the customers through other channels like exclusive retail outlets and direct sales. This is required to have an ongoing impact in the market. As for the traction so far, we have we have actually completed our first batch of products and which is out for delivery as we speak. And secondly, we are also in the final stages of setting up our retail footprints in line with our GTM. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So I once again request our investors to kindly invest the virtual money and kindly give the ratings. And I invite our next startup for a pitch.
Hello. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Dr. Dipankar Kalita, and I'm here asking funding for my startup, which is only 2 crores. So when I came, not working. Yes. So when I came back from France in 2018, I realized something amazing. Just like France had wine, Germany has beer, Mexico has tequila, and Russia has vodka. Northeast India too also had many traditional drinks. But these drinks are not well known outside this region. The reason is that because it expires only in 2 to 3 days. And there is no standard process of making it. Every village has a slightly different style of making it. And because of these 2 problems, our drinks cannot compete with the foreign liquor. But nothing to worry. We have developed, patented, and the critical technology to solve this problem. And now our drink can be stable for more than 2 years. Presently, we are also standardizing the starter cake and the fermentation process. And within 1 month, we will be applying for license to start manufacturing the drink. The thing that we are trying to do is not to just sell an alcoholic drink and earn money. If you look at this picture here, this is a champagne bottle in F1 race. The question is, we are trying to answer is, can our traditional drink challenge that picture? And if you are one of the investors who wants to take the journey to challenge that picture, please be my partner. And for those who want to know about my ESP, we have our product here in the stall, and you can drink it, then decide to invest in my company. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. I once again request our investors to kindly invest the virtual money and kindly do the rating at the wow meter. So that was the 7th pitch for the first session, and now I invite our next startup pitch for their business start.
Hello, my name is Mandira Chitri. I am from Oto Himalaya, Sikkim. 36 in the first 20 days alone. The Disaster Management Authority of Leh Ladakh and now the Transport Department of Sikkim has issued an advisory to all tourists traveling to high altitude places to carry oxygen. And according to Forbes, India has the highest case of COPD in the world, and it is the second largest killer only after heart diseases. So what is common among all three is the lack of oxygen in our body. And for that, we have a very, very simple solution. That is making oxygen portable, lightweight, easily accessible and affordable. 99% pure medical oxygen in a can for you anytime, anywhere. So what is the key differentiator? First and foremost, our oxygen, we are medically certified, and it took us a long time to get us the drug and cosmetic license, because that came as we had to face a lot of compliances for this, and that in fact it is a barrier for entry as well, because if you want to package oxygen, there is a lot of compliances when it comes to drug and cosmetic license, and we are one of the few companies in the country who has the drug and cosmetic license for packaged oxygen. The second thing is, this is a relatively new market in India. Portable oxygen is relatively new, and we have the advantage of capturing the market when it is young. We are the only ones currently operating in Sikkim, and we are also exporting to Nepal. We have around 80 stores in Nepal, right from the valley of Kathmandu to the Everest Base Camp, where our oxygen is available currently. And the next thing is, we are exclusively tied up with various agencies and stakeholders because our oxygen, because it's a relatively new product, it requires a lot of awareness generation, and we are directly in contact with the stakeholders, and they are helping us reach out and spread awareness to our clients. And we're also tied up with the Luxury Vehicle Association of Sikkim, which supplies around 1,200 vehicles. And if you know, Sikkim has an average inflow of tourists of 14 lakh tourists per year. So we just started, and in the last quarter we generated a revenue of 15 lakh rupees, and we are also being impaneled by the state government and they are making oxygen compulsory to high altitude travel, and also in Nepal. And we also plan to later reach out to other destinations and also explore the medical field once we have established ourselves in this era. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mandira. Well, I request our investors to kindly invest their money and to kindly do the rating. I now invite our next startup to kindly come up on days. Please.
My name is Ranjit Barua, Assam. Having left a very comfortable job, took up a bag of entrepreneurship because there was something inside me that I wanted to do with the different types of teas that are present in manufactured across Assam, the nooks and corners. So gold being manufactured by the small farmers. So I decided to use my knowledge and experience to create something beautiful, something healthy, something that gives back to a society, and also work for the upliftment of the small farmers. So we started making value-added teas and take to across India. and outside India, the tea that are produced in Assam with an added value, which will give you better market acceptability. Here is a kind of our specialty, Bhut Jolokia tea. Now we know Bhut Jolokia is very special, it's part of a diet in the Northeast region. So this is one tea that that is in our portfolio. Likewise, we have started making around 45 teas as of now. Teas that promote wellness, teas that promote health. This is not just a packet of tea, it's a packet of hope, packet of growth, packet of aspiration for many farmers across Assam. I use my knowledge and experience to create these blends. Why do you use this wellness teas? Basically, now the health and wellness is the main thing. Unless we are healthy and fit, nothing will work. Post-COVID, more people have turned to wellness beverage. It's a huge market. There can be multiple players. The products are less. So we have decided to play a small role in this huge market. And today I am here looking for support in our journey. In this slide, I have just mentioned some of the points, what is the problem and what solution you are offering. Basically, we are just using the normal flowers, fruits, herbs and spices that are grown traditionally in this region and across different parts of the country. And using our age-old wisdom, like our grandmother, like when we had a cough or cold, used to be given tulsi with honey. So I just use that age-old wisdom, but blending with a modern knowledge of tea technology, the knowledge of tea blending, food pairing, food combination. I also come with a degree in hotel management about 20 years back, and I have used my knowledge of this food pairing and my knowledge in tea plantations in creating our wellness tea blends. I'm lucky to be incubated and supported by IIM CIP Calcutta, Assam Startup, Assam Agriculture University, then IIT Kharagpur, and recently we have been supported by India Accelerator. We hope in a small journey of 3 years, we have been able to launch our product in 3 countries. We started, I've given the traction just to show, like we started on a small note, then we picked up speed, but then we were stressed by COVID. 2 years COVID, we were really pushed the wall, but we used the time to develop products that are beneficial for health, and we won a contest from Germany, GIZ Germany, then we negotiated with Australia. After once the lockdown was removed and logistics were open, we launched our product in Australia. We are lucky to be launching in Japan. Now we recently launched in Abu Dhabi. And the best part is that people are taking note of it, people are enjoying the teas, and this is a hope for the tea industry in Assam, for the small farmers of Assam. We are just a small, we call it nut and bolt in the entire system, and I want support in my journey. So, and I'm very happy to be saying that now we have recently going into a deal with government of, with a buyer from Oman, who is coming to us because they were regular buyers of tea from Sri Lanka. The market has collapsed. Hello. They found us, and now your time is up. Yeah, just 1 minute. Now we are going to a deal with the government with a buyer from Oman. Just I wanted to say that market is growing. We are also growing in traction, and we need support in this journey, which will cater well for the small farmers and all the tea industry and help our business venture to grow. Thank you very much for the opportunity, NRL. And very many thanks to NRL because we have been also given a grant and support in our journey so far. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I request our investors to kindly do the investment and to kindly rate the pitch. And our last pitch by the startup for the first session. I invite you to kindly come up on the stage.
Hello. Hi everyone. I am Dr. Suman Jyoti Deka from Spice Institute of Food Tech LLP. We make innovative spice blends from Northeast Indian spices under the brand Lajava. We are a DPIIT owned startup and we are developing state-of-the-art spice products. Friends, Northeast India has a very rich cultural heritage, and this region over the years has produced many exotic ethnic dishes, pork, duck and pigeon. However, sadly, there is no any ready-made spice blend that is specifically tailored towards Northeast Indian cuisine in the current market. Similarly, there is a complete lack of all-in-one spice blends for global exotic cuisine in our country. Secondly, there is the problem of rampant adulteration of powdered spices in today's market with the addition of artificial colors and flavors, which makes it very unsafe for human consumption. And thirdly, due to the addition of inferior quality of raw materials, the aroma and flavor of many branded spices is very, very substandard. So what is the solution that we are offering? We are offering 100% natural spice blends based on exotic Northeast Indian spices. We have developed products in two phases. In phase one, we have innovative all-in-one rubs and seasonings. These are the first of their kind in the Indian market, and these all-in-one rubs are specially designed for preparing chicken barbecue and pan-fried chicken, such that whenever you add this to the chicken, you do not need to add any other spice, not even salt. In phase 2, we have developed state-of-the-art liquid spice blends, which are based on spice oleoresin, and they are currently in MVP stage. So what is our USP? Regarding the powdered spices, they are unique innovative blends prepared especially using Northeast Indian exotic spices. They are 100% natural and safe for consumption, and also they make the cooking process much more convenient. Similarly, for the liquid spice blends, they are unique and innovative in their own way. In fact, they are the first of their kind in the entire world market, and they also make the cooking process much more convenient and time-saving. We have substantially been able to increase our products in the last 3 months, and this year we are targeting around 40 lakh rupees in total sales in this financial year. And our business, our revenue model is via both online and offline market models. Offline market models is via B2B and B2B2C, whereas online market model is via D2C, that is through our own commercial website. Thank you everyone for giving me this platform. Thank you.
Thank you. I request our investors to kindly invest the virtual money and do the rating. So can we once again have a big round of applause and encourage all the young entrepreneurs for such creative and innovative ideas. If I may ask, shall we display the ratings and the investments now or at the end of the 25 pitches? At the end? Alright, sir. So we'll now proceed to our next sequence of events, which is the release of the brochure. For that, may I humbly invite on days our Chief Guest, Joint Secretary Shri Sunil Kumar ji, and also invite our respected dignitaries and also the Independent Director, NRL, Sudeep Pradhan ji, Priyamvada Kumari Nam, the Independent Director, NRL. I request all our dignitaries to kindly come up on the days and to release the brochure of this event. I invite the Director of Finance, NRL, Director of Operations, Oil. I request you, sir, to kindly come up on the days for the release of the brochure. Can we have a warm round of applause as our chief guests and our dignitaries are releasing the brochure of the Historic Startup Investor Summit 2022. Thank you everyone. I request you all to kindly take your seat. We'll now proceed to our panel discussion, which will be followed by the lunch break for sure. And for the panel discussion, may I invite on days our moderator, Mr. Akmadeep Ray. I request you, sir, to kindly come up on the days. And I also invite our MD, NRL to kindly take a seat on the dais for the panel discussion. I also invite our chief guest to kindly take a seat on the dais for the panel discussion. I invite Sri Subhranshu Sanyal to kindly come up on the dais for the panel discussion. I also invite Mr. Deepak Nagpal. May I also invite Mr. Shamanta Gautam. For the panel discussion, I also invite Kruti Rayani to kindly take a seat on the dais for the panel discussion. And I also invite Sri Atindra Roy Chaudhary, Executive Director Oil, to kindly take a seat on the dais for the panel discussion. And will be joined virtually by Sri Deepak Nagpal for this panel discussion. I request our moderator, sir, to kindly take it forward. Kindly, sir.
Hello. Hello, and good afternoon. We have a very lovely session here and a very eminent panelist. Let me first introduce our panelist. On my right, Mr. Sunil Kumar, Joint Secretary, Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas. Next to him is Mr. Bhaskar Jyoti Fukan, Managing Director, Numalika Refineries. Then we have next to him is Mr. Subhranshu Sanyal, CEO, IIM Calcutta Innovation Park, and my extreme right, Mr. Samantha Gautam, founder, research Research Field AI, right? My left, Ms. Kruti Rayani. She is head of investments in Lead Angels, and next to him, on my left, is Mr. Atindra Roy Chaudhary, Executive Director, Oil India. So before we start, let me set a rule first. We have 1 hour session. So there's another Mr. Nick Nagpal, who is Managing Director, India Accelerator, who is joining us online. Yes, thank you. So I am Atudip Rai, Senior Editor of Economic Times. I am your moderator for the session. For the next 50 minutes or so, we'll hear this gentleman and ladies, and I will hear from them, we'll learn from them, and next 10 minutes, we can have a question and answer session if anything. To start with, let me share a few data points. India is the third largest startup ecosystem globally. And we have 78,000 startup units spread across 656 districts. That means in every nook and corner of the country, we have a startup unit. And yes, you heard me right, 78,000. And a big money is flowing in. To give you some more details, 2.7 billion has been invested in the third quarter of this calendar year. That means between July to September. And another 20 billion, which has been earmarked for investment in India and yet to be released. So that will be flowing in the next 3 to 4 quarters perhaps. So that is what we are all excited about. I will stop here and let us hear from the people who matter the most. I will first ask Mr. Sunil Kumar. Sir, as the government is doing several projects, right? So what do you think for the next 10 years, what are the plans lying ahead? If you can just give us an observation, overview.
So, thank you for this question, and I will talk about oil and gas, how we are seeing how oil and gas will move forward with time. Currently, we consume around 5 million barrels per day of crude oil in the country, and it is estimated kind of growth we are envisaging in the country that it will increase up to 6 million barrel per day by 25-26 and 8 million barrel by 2030. So the scenario is that we will be needing energy, quite a lot of energy. And this energy will come from all possible sources. And if you see our growth in crude oil, that means the conventional energy sources will also give us a quite substantial bit of energy for quite foreseeable time, at least 2 decades in my opinion. And renewable with solar, biofuels, hydrogen is a future fuel. These new energy will also join in, and our pie for energy has to grow. So this whole energy movement has a lot of technology intervention. The technology is rapidly changing, which warrants that oil and gas, which is a quite 100-year-old industry, has to change so that we can maximize energy from every drop of crude available. And we have to extract every possible crude available in India or abroad so that our transition is smoother. So technology is making it possible. So technology interruptions, we have seen that startups are the best, I can say, or startups are the best factor or best soldiers or best entities which harness these changes faster than the bigger companies like oil and national oil companies like NRL. So what we did, that we started with this startup movement along with Prime Minister's bigger plan of startup in India, and our PSUs pledged around 400 crores of rupees. So we want that startups to come up and assist in our enhancement of business processes, complete oil and gas industry, from extraction, from processing of crude oil to marketing to last end user consumption. Even allied spin-off, like you have seen, like the one biotech which is doing for the saplings of bamboo, for which we are making new energy, which NRL is making ethanol from bamboo waste. So they will be supplying bamboo sapling, bamboo plant, bamboo chips for them. So that kind of reach we are planning through our startup program. And we see that this size of 400 crores will increase with time. And we urge our colleagues in PSUs to go more to market and attract more and more young talent in this.
Right, sir. No, the future is very exciting, no doubt about that. But only concern we may have that there are several new players are coming in. So is there a bubble?
So bubble is not bad. Maybe I think investors will agree with me. Every technological major jumps happens when vacuum tubes became transistors, and transistors clubbed together and became IC. When the great giants of today, they were babies over there, Microsoft, Apple, and all Intel, everything, they were all very small companies. So that process happened. There are a lot of companies which died in those days. So the death rate is pretty high, but it's good. All technological intervention and the benefits we are reaping, there's a lot of failures down below, buried down below. Yes, because of that fodder, we are here. So failures we should not be deterred by. And I like the NRL's presentation where there's a bridge to support the people who are at that cycle where they say, I have to give up. Don't give up. This happens, and bubble is a necessary thing. In my opinion, bubble is a necessary thing to happen anywhere, whenever the growth happens.
Thank you. This is very good to hear that optimism of Mr. Kumar. I would like to turn to Ms. Kruti Ruyani, whose firm has invested in the Northeast. So, Ms. Ruyani, as Mr. Kumar said, bubble is good. But what do you think? What do you want the government to lay down so that the entrepreneurs or promoters get interested?
So I think programs like these definitely, help us also connect with startups that are based out here. I mean, pre-pandemic, we've definitely given a lot of focus to metro cities where we've, focused on companies which have been in Bangalore, in Delhi, Mumbai, metro cities mainly. And I think with initiatives like these and, the sort of exposure that startups are getting now post-pandemic, thanks to the world also going virtual to a certain extent, it's really helping us as investors also to get, or rather tap into a place like this where there is so much, keenness. I think the founders that I've met since morning, so enthusiastic. If they're just given the right push and right sort of mentoring also, I'm sure they can go like miles ahead, and there's a lot that we can work with them and also take things forward. So yes, that's definitely something that I'd like.
Mr. Sanyal, do you agree to that, what Ms. Rani is saying?
Yes.
No, as Ms. Rani is saying that if you repeat.
Sure, so basically events like these where we actually get to connect with startups in the ecosystem out here, which otherwise we didn't get earlier. I think the focus used to be more on metro cities, and now it's actually tapping into, other states where startups are not given as much importance as they are now. So I think that's something that's really helped us as investors tap into the market here, and I'm sure I'm seeing a lot of growth over here taking place as well.
Absolutely, I fully agree. And obviously number speaks. Some numbers are already shared during the presentations. My personal experience, I've been working closely with the Northeast ecosystem for last 5 years, and when I started working and I met the various stakeholders, the feedback that I got is that we have money but we are not getting enough startups to invest. That was the situation 5 years back. Now my personal experience through IIM Calcutta Innovation Park, we have funded 15 startups, various instruments. Those 15 startups, now they have raised, and the total quantum was very small because we support baby startups, like the first funding kind of, it was around 3 crores. Those startups have raised follow-on funding of 30 crores. And our portfolio valuation has increased 10x. So this is what is our personal experience as an incubator. And I'm sure Netfi and NRL can share more stories. definitely I agree that this is growing.
Based on your experience in Northeast, how do you rate the local startups vis-a-vis the mature markets?
Oh, great question. If you asked me these questions 5 years back, I would have given a very subjective answer. But now, thanks to the Startup India ranking, we have data now. And it's a matter of immense pride for all of us who are working in the system. 3 states in the Northeast have come up from nowhere and has taken up the top position at a national level. I'm sure you all know, but let me repeat. Category B, for states where population is less than 1 crore, Meghalaya is the best performing, the #1 state. And this is the first time they have participated in the ranking, first time. Arunachal Pradesh again came from nowhere, first time they have participated, they have been recognized as a leader in that state ranking. And Assam is again in the category of leaders, which is in the category A, more than 1 crores. And this came, it happened very fast. If you look at reports 4 or 5 years back, you will not see Northeast existing in those reports. Now you see the states coming up. So this proves how the states are doing. Number 2, compared to the bigger ecosystem, on a lighter note, the kind of startups here are very unique, okay? When I visit a startup expo in, let's say, NCR or Bangalore, fantastic technology, wow technology, right? And it makes me very happy. But when I go back after the startup expo in Northeast, my entire family is very happy. Can you guess why? I have a full backup startup products which includes Bhoot Jolokia chocolate, which my kids love, gold tea, which my wife likes, then smoky tea, and then we have various beauty products from natural sources, and also the spice mix which my mother loves. So that is the difference between Northeast startups and startups from rest of India. They are leveraging strength of Northeast and they are defining that technology is not only IT. Technology has a much broader dimension. And I love all the startups from Northeast because of that. Thank you.
Very, very encouraging to hear that. I will ask another thing. Do you have any suggestions how they can improve further in the local startups ecosystem?
Yeah, since we don't have a lot of time, I will not talk much. I have definitely a lot of suggestions. But one interesting thing you might have observed when the presentations are going on, some of the startups' name figured multiple times. Netfee has funded, NRL has funded, also incubated by Assam Startup and various places. What it proves? It proves that collaboration is happening. That means at the baby stage you have incubators, when they are growing up you have a grant, and when they have grown up further in the scale-up stage you have equity fund. This is a very positive sign for the ecosystem, and I will strongly encourage government, academia and industry to collaborate and strengthen this. This is something which will make a very unique blend for Northeast. And this program, I think, is triggering that kind of collaboration. The second aspect that I would highlight and request all the government officials here to support, enabling the startups. We talk about ease of doing business, but ease of doing business with government is still not there. So I would request the government officials to enable ease of doing business with startups in terms of enabling procurement policy, enabling the various criteria that's here. That's already being promoted by the Startup India or Invest India, but the practical implementation I will strongly encourage, which will help all our startup friends. So collaboration, enabling the startups, and the third thing is, for any ecosystem to see success stories, I talk about 1:10 ratio, that each level you move up, the success rate becomes 1:10. If you want to see 1 success stories, you need 10 commercialization. To see 1 commercialization, you need 10 prototypes. To see 1 prototype, you need 10 ideas. So this is, now figure out, to see 1 success story, you need 1,000 ideas. Very important for this ecosystem to create this pipeline of ideas. There we need intervention right from school and college level. And we need a lot of work to be happening at that level. Then we'll see more success stories from there. It's just a volume game. So I have many more, but I will stop here.
Thank you. Mr. Kumar, you have any observation what Mr. Sanil is saying?
I think that pipeline thing, that's what I was referring to when I was talking about bubble. Pipeline is that what we say that we need ideas at stage. Which one idea will win hereafter. That idea will change the way we work, way we live. So that's regarding changing the government policy for ease of doing business. We have interaction with our colleagues in PSU, procure things. So we are working on changing some rules so that startups will come up with some prototype or some product which qualify for procurement despite no experience or despite pending testing or long-term testing of the product. We are working on that, and I have sought feedback from all public sector units to how to go about it, and we'll take necessary decision very soon to allow startups to participate in the tendering process or procurement process of our public sector.
Thank you. So talking about ideas, numerical refineries, Oil India, they are investing in ideas. So I will turn to Mr. Fukan. Northeast is rich in biodiversity. So do you think the local startups are leveraging enough to this potential?
It is very encouraging to see. You have seen number of startups which have come up in various areas. Even in our own startup portfolio, you have seen 27 startups are agri and allied. We in NRL, we thought that if we only focus on oil and gas, we may not be able to get back to the connect, because Asa Northeast is an agri and economy to start with, and there are a lot of products which have a demand outside, but because of lack of logistics, get stuck in the Northeast. So we are working together with the industry body, the logistic partners and all, to try and ease out that logistic bottleneck and thereby give the access to these beautiful agri products, either fresh or finished or semi-finished. So that has been one of the key areas. Now that so many people are coming, and the premier institutes are also there in Northeast nowadays, the IIT, the NIIMs are there. Therefore, you also see tech startups, even if fewer in number, are coming. So that's a very positive sign. I think the future is very bright. The pipeline of ideas that has just been spoken, you have number of ideas. That's why you have seen whatever few that we have selected, 38 of them to be precise, came out of 1,000 ideas that were posted in our website. So that kind of thinking there from the youth and the budding entrepreneurs, I think this trend will continue and future is bright.
You have a fund already of 10 crores.
Equity, you invest in equity. If some of the startup do well, which we hope so, because investment will happen with a lot of due diligence. So once they attain a value, we'll exit and we will recoup the fund so that more
promote startups. When it is good, but at some level, do you think it's an obligation as well? Because you are a listed company and you have minority shareholders to protect.
The government has to be kick-started, and the private investments obviously will not come at the first place. It was only an initial push that government has given to the PSUs. Now, since we wanted to do it in a hurry, and then to keep put in equity investment atmosphere in place through the broad approval and the complexities that is associated with equity investment for the player, because we are not in the business of agri-allied. So if I have to invest, I have to do a lot of work there. So therefore, equity investment was not forthcoming at the moment. To break the ice, government said that you start with this what you call grant funding, and from day one they were encouraging us, if possible, migrate to equity. So there was no grant. They said that invest 400 crore in startup. So the companies themselves initially decided, so let us do a grant funding to start with, and like us, others will also migrate to equity funding.
Thank you. I will turn to my left, Mr. Akhinder Rai Chaudhary. I will ask, you only provide grant so far, so whether it is an obligation and whether you also have a plan to promote an equity fund.
Well, first of all, we are PSUs. We are owned by Government of India. So our actions with the thinking and the thought process of Government of India. So it is not that the government has forced us to invest. We are aligning our vision along with the government's vision. And that's absolutely correct for PSUs to follow. At the same time, my personal experience while talking about startup in Oil India, since I was associated with it almost right from the beginning, there are certain challenges when you give a grant. The challenges are in the form of our observation, at least my observation, I think my other colleagues on the startup selection committee, steering committee will agree in all, that we are getting startups, but most of them are primarily focused on kind of an R&D activity. Rather than, there is component of commercialization. It has to result into a viable commercial product. That is a challenge in the grant form. That's what I can say.
Thank you. And what do you think, how these startups can bring value to this upstream oil and gas industry?
Well, if you talk about upstream E&P, see, in upstream, so it has both on the positive and also rather on the challenge side. Now, if I talk about the vertical design, that means a well, we normally 50 to 60 crores on a well. Now, if somebody, a startup comes in with a product and which I need to test it, yes, I need to give him the facility to test on my well. But the challenge is, as already touched Kumar Sai in his speech, that, AI and ML in training our people, because in many of the cases we need to train our people on the real conditions. You cannot take an effort for him to make a mistake. So if I can train him in the virtual environment, that will be excellent. Other side I am saying, in E&P sector, the government is going with a very expensive program. If you see in the OLP design, we have a vast unexplored area, but these are difficult terrains. I can say in Northeast, since we are primarily at present, we are exploring in the...
But it's a little narrow in the way it is put up. But there are too many variables here, and hence, of course, there is no standard answer as to how much time it takes. There is a wide variation. But what I can offer is probably some insights from historical data. And I think, as one of my colleagues in the panel was saying, companies that are growing eventually to become unicorns, they do their first VC investment at a much faster rate. So that's a clue that they get the investor attention much early in their life cycle, right? And also, I think the question that you asked, it was about first major investment. So which is why I've answered that on an average 2.5 years, and the ones that are high potential attract much higher. But the angel seed funding, right, beyond the grant, funding that again my panel colleague in the panel spoke about, the angel seed funding typically happens around 1 to 1.5 years mark, right? And 2/3 of the startups would have raised the first investment in the first 2 years, right? But the rest 1/3, there is a long tail. For some it takes a long time, and then there are some like Zoho that choose to be bootstrapped even till they go to IPO. So it's a wide variety. There is no standard answer, but I've given you some data points which can tell you as to when typically the first VC funding comes, and typically when the first angel seed funding comes. Hope that makes sense.
Okay, and at India Accelerator, how do you accelerate? What are the key criteria for that?
I think, as we were talking, right, it being an industrial panel, I think the last panelist just spoke about mentorship. So what we do right, we do a 4 months acceleration program which is outcome focused, right? Outcome for a startup are only two: business growth and funding, right? And again, the panelists spoke about, so the approach that we used for achieving both those outcomes is what we call as the mentorship-based approach. And we look at mentorship in three lenses. Functional mentorship, the areas which are common for any startup, be it legal, marketing, compliance, building a team, technology. Then the domain mentorship, right? We just spoke about ENP being a huge domain and a very technical domain with highly, safety and human element involved. So there is an aspect of understanding the domain, right? So while we look at functions, we also look at the domain mentorship. For example, our energy vertical, right, which is called Urja, IEA Urja, has mentors from upstream, downstream, mobility, all parts of the energy value chain, right? So the domain mentorship is another aspect. The third aspect that I think which is very, very critical, which brings scalability to a startup operation, is the business model. So we look at mentorship around those three axes. And the reason we want to do a broad brush and see is because we look at the gap-based mentorship. So this foundational mentorship, the typical design thinking, OKR, and things like that, to identify those areas. And in a summary, to answer your question, we look at, our DNA when we work with a startup is what we call as 4 C's. Capital, which is bringing in the funds from our angel network via the CAT1 fund or our CAT2 fund, which we just announced. Competency, which is the heavy lifting of mentorship based on the gaps, connects and community, right? Bringing in the connects from our network of corporate partners, bringing in the connects from our, GAT membership or other connections that we have, and community, we have supported 150 startups, so there are a thriving community of 250 founders, so bringing in internal business growth via that. So that's how we go about supporting our startup.
Thank you so much. Mr. Gautam, I am coming to you. I am coming to you last, but the most important aspect of startup, that is technology, which is the backbone of any startup. And so what do you think is the next big thing in technology, so far as startups is concerned?
Hello. Yeah, so technology is always important, and as there has been technological shift based on the new innovations, the compute power is increasing, the internet speed increasing, the AI, ML and the data that we have. So that is making a lot of opportunities as well as ideas to come up. So there's similarly, if you look at the whole AR, VR space, the augmented reality space, the kind of opportunity it gives and what you can do. Also the metaverse, but in all these technologies, what I feel is most important is solving the real world problems, right? So, and you choose technology only when the right technology for the purpose that you are solving. So if you look at the healthcare is one of the critical aspects, and there's been a lot of AI, ML, as well as the healthcare record storage, the analysis of healthcare records, even the machineries, all these are, there are a lot of innovations getting placed there. So technologies in starting from your drones to image analysis processing, image processing, the security aspects, the digital twin. So digital twin is becoming very prevalent, and it's going to be a big change how we see things in future, how we communicate with different people. So all these, and even the space technology is coming up rapidly. So it's actually offering a lot of new opportunities, and technology will continue to evolve. And as the most fascinating part is how fast the technologies are evolving. And as it's evolving, it creates a lot more new opportunities, and you'll keep seeing new startups coming up and new unicorns forming. So I think most important again I say is that solving real life problems, and you choose a technology that best suited for.
From your experience in Silicon Valley, how do you think that Indian startup ecosystem can catch up in terms of Gartner hype cycle?
Yeah, well, in fact, if you see, there's been a lot of Indians involved in the US ecosystem as well. And in India now, in last 5 years plus, we have a lot of global startups which has actually created mark across the world, starting from India, specifically from Bangalore or Gurgaon area. So I think the new technology entrance, we have a lot of opportunity for getting into the Gartner Magic Quadrant, but there are a lot of different aspects which requires to be part of the Gartner Magic Quadrant. But I think the challenges, there are a lot of companies which are making entry to the Gartner challenges. So I think again, we in India probably have a lot more problems, and which basically gives opportunity for a lot more solutions and a lot more ideas to come up. And I think that once the startup ecosystem is building, starting from the ideation processes, the funding ecosystem, the ancillary systems around it, the discussions, the forums, all will create a lot more entrepreneurs and a lot more new ideas coming up, and which will, of course, we'll see in Gartner cycle as well.
Okay, so very interesting. Now we can have some question and answers. If you may have some questions, you can ask our panelist. No questions? I have one question for Mr. Fukan. As renewable is the order of the day, so when you plan to invest in new startups, will you focus more on that?
Renewable power in the energy transition scenario, renewable is something which you cannot avoid. In our mainstream business of NRL, the part of the renewable will come in the form of, say, we are trying to make green hydrogen. So we will consume lot of renewable power. Then probably we have to aim to reduce the scope 3 emission. In the quest to reduce scope 3 emission, we have to produce something by burning of which you cannot generate, you don't generate CO2 like fossil fuel. So these are the future things that we have to keep on doing in the phases. But these are actually the mainstream jobs that we are going to do. Maybe startup, if they come into the ecosystem, suppose somebody comes to partner us in a electrolyzer supply or installation, those things will be there. But as a process, if my job is to produce energy. One gentleman came one day that I want to produce hydrogen for you. So if he starts producing hydrogen, what do I do? So that answer is that has to be answered by, because energy is our core. So that core business we have to be there. So startups will be there. They will be either a technological assistance to our own mainstream work, or they will be an unrelated startup. That is how we think of the startup ecosystem.
Okay, so you have heard our eminent panelists who represented the entire gamut of startup ecosystem. We have the government representative, we have entrepreneur, we have the technocrat, investor. So if you have any questions, please ask them. Yes, sir.
Good afternoon, sir. I am Pradap from Oil India Limited. My question is directed to Zain, sir.
Sorry, who?
Joint Secretary, Refineries, sir. Sir, the thing that has come up is that should we be supporting ideas or should we be supporting a developed product? That's where we always have a confusion. So the idea, someone may be having an idea, startup idea, should we go for supporting them? Or someone who already has a developed product, should we go towards them? So that's the question.
That's a good question. I think that dilemma you always face when you are going for this thing happening. So, I think you also joined in our review meetings of, I always say that for oil and gas, if idea is brilliant and they don't have funding, and if you feel that, I think idea has to be nurtured. And even developed product also, there is one idea which has flowered. Ideas are very tender and very fragile, and they start developing into a bigger size. So you have to see ideas in both. If ideas suits helps in our oil and gas, our future scenario, our roadmap, what we are planning for energy sector, then you should go ahead with that. And just I'll add, not related to this when I was discussing this one, that once we did study in 7 years ago, then we saw two variables, individual variables and contextual variables. Individual variables like the person's experience and person's technical knowledge, and contextual was that where he's placed, the technology and the infrastructure and other factors which contributes to his ideas, his talent and expertise. So what we found that as we move toward east, especially UP, Bihar, MP, people from that region and individual variable we found that were not very keen to go for entrepreneurship. That is 7 years back after the study, because we interviewed many. But that thing is changing, and for Northeast to develop as a hub for startup, we have to do some cultural thing also, make these startup heroes also, celebrities among people, local people. But that is required to attract more and more people in this fold, because that is more important. The individual variable from this eastern side, I see that compared to Bangalore, Maharashtra, Gujarat, there is some disadvantage here. So for that we have to work. That is my suggestion. I just thought I would add.
Any more questions? Corporates, when we are, let's say, making any equity investment in startups, we have a different way of looking at those investments compared to a normal VC, who are primarily focused on the financial returns. So we also have a strategic aspect in mind. Investors should position themselves while they are looking at the corporate investors. Thank you. Ms. Nayan, you take it.
Sure, so I'll definitely take one part of it. Maybe the second part is something I may not be the right person to comment on. But when it comes to, how a startup would feel about a corporate investing, at least the ones that, we've invested in, and we have invested with corporates as well, I think what's important is that they should be given that sort of cushioning or given that sort of understanding that the investment is not only from a strategic perspective, it's also to assist and help them grow, because that's basically what every startup wants. You have to look at it more from a financial return perspective. But again, we are also happy to invest with corporates, because we do understand over a period of time, the corporate will actually be able to maybe guide, mentor, and get the company onto the right path rather than we would, because of the sort of expertise and understanding that they come with and vis-a-vis what we come with. So I think positioning is important, and giving them that sort of pat on the back that we're here for you, it's not just to eat you up. So I think that's primarily what I think is of key importance.
Mrs. Tanyan, would you like to add anything in this?
Supporting idea is extremely important, because that creates the pipeline for fundable investments. Because investors comes at that stage, right? So we should support ideas, but the kind of program will be different conflict, but when you select the startup, the basic questions that whether I'm right or wrong, and equally important for. So I think given the selection, this is the most critical phase, whether you are assessing these 3 points carefully. That's all.
Yes, please.
Hello. I was just, hello, I'm Banerjee from Hindustan Petroleum. Just adding to what my colleague was talking regarding corporate investment and VC funds. So basically what I felt is corporate investors are looking into the values they're bringing, or maybe the VC funds are looking into the valuations they're bringing. So that can be the very critical difference between a corporate and a VC fund investment.
If I can add a few thoughts on this last question, is that okay?
Yes, please.
So I think on the corporate one, we at India Accelerator run this, what we call as open innovation or a corporate acceleration program. The idea there is simple. The idea there is that, can we help the corporate prioritize the lens and strike a balance? And I would like to add one more lens, I think, which has served well the corporates. It's not just strategic and financial, what I call as the cultural lens, right? Is the corporate looking at, accessing the entrepreneurial ecosystem to actually help its own organization become a little bit more entrepreneurial in nature? Is it looking at the entrepreneurial ecosystem to be able to hire talent? So I think I would want to add that there is a cultural lens as well. And then when you have an entity like us which manages an open innovation program like we have done for JSW Sports, PVR, ICICI Bank, what you end up doing is you create a list of use cases that are relevant for you. And in those use cases, source startups that could actually be a service provider that could actually give you the product that you can take to your customers, that can give you a tangent market access and not just M&A. And the example that I would like to take here is one of our programs that we are doing for Tata AIA, life insurance products, right? They don't want to be seen as a life insurance company that comes into the life of a customer only at the eventuality, right? They want to be seen as a life insurance company that helps improve the wellness and health once a client is enrolled. And that is where we are helping them partner with wellness startups to offer them their products, right? And by virtue of these clients taking a tangent product or taking a product from a startup, Tata AI is actually able to get better data for their customers. And it then helps them to sell more products. So there could be synergies like this that could be created. Just wanted to add that, that a player like us can actually facilitate that and keep the interest of both the organizations in mind.
Yes, thank you. Very important observations. And
I'm audible. This was Senthil Murugan from IIT Guwahati. I take in charge for the Technology Incubation Center. After looking so much of interactive interaction, from the technology incubation perspective, I see challenges which I would like to see some advice from you, as a government organization, as a investors. See, if we look as an in charge, I see many companies. One is they need a biosafety level 3 lab. The another guy needs a petroleum lab. The another guy needs so many labs. So, as a one technology incubation, accommodating all the companies and making them to give all success stories is very, very difficult. As a country, I think we should organize, okay, this is a technology incubation center is organized for petroleum companies who has innovative ideas in the petroleum, they have to host there. And you have a biosafety level 3 labs, so where companies who has startup ideas where they need biosafety level, they have to go host there. But today we think as a TIC means software companies where we have few employees and then we can host them. It looks to me that it's very, very unfortunate. I have to reject many people which I don't have an infrastructure, and also I'm not able to recommend somewhere where you have such a facilities. So I think there is a coordination is missing. If you want to get such coordination, what is required for a country like India in today's situation?
Okay. We'll take it. Mr. Daniel will take it, and Mr. Fukan. Mr. Fukan, perhaps.
I think this is a very typical problem. See, only thing that you need to have, we have a lot of centers where cutting edge research are going on, and CSIR, why don't you sit down? Yeah, where CSIR lab, for example, one CSIR lab will specialize in other, but if you approach one CSIR lab, if they don't have that facility, they can guide it where we should go, or they can say that part of it you do it here, and when it comes to the critical portion of your experimentation, you have to go to some other CSIR lab. If they can have that partnership and common platform for the facilities that they have, other labs can also have, and it can also be agnostic to the affiliation of the institution. IIT, CSIR, whomsoever is having a lab. Maybe the corporates also have fantastic labs, like BPCL has CRDC, IOCL has very cutting edge R&D facilities. All these laboratories and experimenting facilities can be displayed in a website and people can approach. But my experience is that even within each other's facility. So that mindset has to change, unfortunately. Thank you.
Yeah, Mr. Kumar.
Because recently this problem came up, and the same from IIT Mumbai. So what we are doing right now, we have around 7-8 research centers of downstream companies and some 10-11 in upstream. So for downstream, we have made a group with rotating chairmanship, and we have asked these IITs also to join in, and they will have a quarterly meeting to share notes that what all research they are doing. They should not be committing resources on one idea which everyone is doing, so that they can diverge from there. And secondly, use of these high-end equipments. So maybe you'll be getting, I don't know why you have not got it. The other IITs have been informed about it. I'll check with my
I just want to see, Professor, I am also from the same domain, okay? I share the same thing. So I represent a business school, and we are almost zero in technology. And we are incubating around 500 startups. So how do we do it? The only solution is cooperation. And if you look at some of the startups who presented, you see IIM Calcutta Innovation Park, IIT Guwahati. You have seen multiple logos there. Na? This is what is strongly encouraged. One thing I am self-criticizing about academia is that we are very poor in collaboration. How many times you have seen that one IIM collaborates with another IIM, one IIT collaborating with another IIT, right? I think we should break these silos. And we have tried this when we started the Assam startup operations. First thing we did, tried to collaborate with as many academic institutions as possible. Because we know we have a weakness, which is technology. And one technology institute cannot fill the gap. If I need competence in agriculture, I need to go to the agriculture university, right? IIT may have it, but they are the specialists. So this is the way I would recommend that. Let us break the silos, let us collaborate, and some of the success stories which you have seen, IIT, IIM, collaboration, helping startups, that is the only way to go around.
Absolutely, and collaboration, the platform like this gives you the opportunity to collaborate. So I'm sure that you will all use this opportunity. Yes, please, I'm coming to you. So we can have one last question.
Startup incubation can be collaborated, and that helps to the startup companies. Okay, I have something in some way, and that can help them. It gives a lot of benefit to the startups. That was my.
Yes, your point is well taken.
It's been a very wonderful session so far. My name is Rajiv, and I'm from Netfi. I just wanted to flag a concern which I think if some of us can help solve. So a certain startup came to me for funding, right? And it was working on a very critical research on hydrogen fuel, okay? And so when I probed further, it was found out that that startup had already been sanctioned a grant by IOCL, and that he was facing a problem of, because that grant, he can only avail that grant up as a reimbursement. So now he was running from bank to bank and to us investors also. So I think if certain, some of us PSUs are having giving grants, then give it as a grant and not like as a reimbursement, because that is a redundancy, because again that same startup who does not have much resources has to run from bank to bank for seeking a loan to get that grant. So that is a pain area that I saw. So I just wanted to highlight it to IOCL, if IOCL is there.
Mr. Ratu, you would like to comment?
I have a slightly different view on this. In my initial comments itself, I say the startups they have to look in innovations to carry it to the market. Now, when you intend to go to the market, some amount of financial planning, some amount of resource generation, competency also has to be developed by the startups. Now, without that, the problem, as I am saying in the grant, on the other side of grant, is that they don't develop themselves, because the grant you give, 1 crore or 2 crore will not be sufficient enough once we go into the market and compete, right? So that skill also has to be developed. I am not saying at what level this problem is. I understand what you are saying. So it's a mix of both sides. And just imagine when these startups programs or the grants were not done in the PSUs. Still there were people who came into the market, they generated their fund, they developed products, and they had become big. Yes, we are there to help them out. So it's both sides of it. I think that the kind of problem they face, and if they look for solutions, in future, those startups will, they will know how to generate fund. That's my thought process. I may be wrong, but that's what I feel.
Yeah, the discussion is getting more intense, so I think there is another question.
No, sir, I just need to answer. I am from IOCL.
Okay, yeah.
Sir has already answered it, but just before I answer, I just wanted to tell few words about our Indian Oil Startup Scheme. So it's very, very unique among the oil PSUs. So we look into two aspects, as we were discussing since morning, that we are looking on from the Lakshmi part of that. Either we are an investor in the form of a grant, or venture capitalist comes, they wanted to see that the product is being developed or the technology is being developed. Here, Indian Oil Startup Scheme plays a different role. What we are doing is we are defining the problem statements and we throw an open innovation challenge and we call for proposals. And we have what maybe, as Sanjay sir was mentioning, we should have germination of more ideas. So almost 2,000, 3,000 ideas were there. So we give the money in the form of a grant for validation of idea till proof of concept stage only. So now you can look forward for the startups which are being funded by Indian Oil. Once the startup completes his proof of concept from Indian Oil, he is ready to walk or maybe fly. Because when we go for validation of idea to proof of concept, and now to answer to the research question, like when validation of idea to proof of concept goes, we are giving the funds in the form of milestones basically, sir. So these milestones are mutually agreed between the startup and the Indian Oil. And there comes a third dimension, sir, which I wanted to mention, which no other oil PSU does, is the process owner and a mentor. So there is a mentor for all the startup. There is one at least one mentor, and I remember there are few projects, we have got 4 mentors. So these mentors basically, they will be guiding them, they will be helping them to validate their proof of concept. And during this journey, they will be validating in the real world. If it is a marketing related project, or if it is a pipeline related project, or if it is basically related to plastics or refinery related issues, those commercial, this demo trial will be done at a real site level before it is being done at a local level. So I had one startup here itself in this room. It's very, very unique basically in our country, where we have an aviation fuel refueler. These pipes which we connect for transportation of ATF, these pipes are entirely imported, and there are around 80 components which are being imported from our in our country, and there is no no manufacturer who supplies this. This startup was funded by Indian Oil. There is emerging tech solution, and out of 80 raw materials, he has made that 77 products as indigenized, and that product is ready into the market. And the commercial trials is also being completed in one of our aviation turbine fuel places, and now it is a turn of the venture capitalist investor to further invest into the company and take it to the next level, because that is the first ever company in the country who will be supplying this kind of fuel refuelers. And sir, what sir has asked is basically, we are one thing we have to understand, we are a public sector driven company and we are accountable for each and every funds we give it to it. So if the milestones which are mutually agreed, we can break up the milestones, but as Atendra sir has mentioned, initial 2 steps you have to move ahead. We will be always there with our hands to catch hold of you, and we will believe in us, we will not let you down at any stage. Thank you.
Wonderful, thank you so much. Let us have a last comment from Mr. Kumar about the PSU structure he has just mentioned. The challenges.
There is one dilemma again that is coming after hearing the discussion. Whether this PSU oil and gas companies or I have already identified themselves as an energy company rather than oil and gas company. So after the, changing in their own role to be played in future, are they going to adopt a model like funding and acquiring in case of the startups that are coming or going to come in the energy sector? Definitely the energy mix is going to change in India, and in that scenario, when the oil and gas share is decreasing, whether the startups that are coming with disruptive technology will be funded and acquired by these oil and gas PSUs.
He's from NRL. It's not a very difficult question to ask. You fund and someone grows. There are, obviously you would like to, and if he's extremely useful and important, and that technology which he has developed has a lot of value, with due value it can be always bought off, and that's a very natural commercial decision which has to follow. Basically it is the commercial decision which will prevail at any point of time on these kind of transactions. I hope I have answered.
Yes, and you would like to add something?
There are examples also. Recently BP bought a green energy company also. So if you see analogy, Facebook bought WhatsApp, Google bought YouTube. So if an energy company or a startup company becoming big and another energy dominant company wants to buy it and to make it a bigger energy company, that will happen. It happened in all kind of verticals. It will happen in energy also. It can happen.
Right. We are coming to the end of this session, very energetic and vibrant session. Let's have a big round of applause to our Indian panelists. Thank you so much for your patient hearing.
Thank you once again. I'd like to thank all our panelists for such an insightful and engaging session. I now invite the director of the mementos to our esteemed panelists. Thank you, sir. Thank Sri Sunil Kumar, sir, for giving us such an insightful knowledge on the entire topic, and we would also like to express our gratitude to Sri Deepak Nagpal, sir, for joining us virtually in this session.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Shri Hasmanji Tipakal, MD NRL. Shri Shamanta Gota. Shri Atindra Roy Chaudhary. Thank you, sir. And Ms. Kriti Rayani. And of course, our moderator of this session, Atmandeep Ray. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Well, now we'll break for lunch of about 45 minutes, and immediately after that, we will start our next session.